So there I was, standing there in the church, and for the first time in my life, I realized I totally and utterly loved one person. And it wasn't... and it wasn't the person... and it wasn't the person standing next to me in the veil. It was the person standing opposite me in the rain.
Is it still raining? I hadn't noticed. Let's start the show! Depressing news, everyone. 20 years since Four Weddings and a Funeral.
Crikey.
Now, I'd always assumed that was written for you.
No, I had to audition, and in fact, I was very much unwanted. Richard Curtis, after the audition, did everything in his power to stop me getting the part. And it was a very traumatic audition. I remember going, and for some reason, it was at the Jim Henson studio, you know, where they make the Muppets. And we were actually in this great big studio, and so I was auditioning in front of director, producer, writer, and 50 full-size Muppets. And it was unsettling.
And what did you have? Did you have a video of your best man speech, or...?
That's right. Well, I thought I'd made rather a funny speech at my brother's wedding, so I thought I'll take that along and that'll charm them. But in fact, I think it slightly sickened them, because they were looking for someone kind of more middle of the road, and I think I looked really sort of hoity-toity, up my own arse, posh. So, but anyway, I got the part in the end. I think they couldn't find anyone else.
And that speech, did it upset your brother? Or did he find it funny?
Well, yeah, I got away with it. He said, my brother, poor chap, is prone to having big styes in his eye, and he got one on the day of his wedding, and he said, whatever happens, just don't make a joke about my stye. So I based the entire speech around it. I mean, what else? Yeah, you know, I hope that my brother will keep you in the style to which you're accustomed. I said, yeah, it was all right.
Quite long. Yeah, poor brother. Reading about your career, you can never tell. You know, no one tries to make a bad film, and you can never tell. Like, didn't you think Four Weddings and a Funeral you thought was a dud?
Yeah. Yes, I did. I went to see it in a... It wasn't really fair, because the only time I saw it, really, was all by myself in a cinema in Paris, where there wasn't anyone to laugh with, and all I could see was me. And again, that's another film that should be called Fiona and her love of hats, as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, just watching it with no one there and not finding the jokes particularly funny. And then I was going to do promotion, and I was on a plane, and they were showing this film, and just the laughter going through the film. It was in the days when everybody had to watch the same film.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone was sitting there with enormous headphones on, laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing, and all watching this film. So I thought, oh, well, maybe I was mistaken. Maybe it is quite good.
It's going to be a hit.
Did you think you were good in it?
No.
OK. Because if you were like, yeah, it was crap, but I nailed it.
That rarely happens, sadly. I wish there were things that you thought, oh, God, I'm so good in that. But it doesn't really happen.
But when you do really big films, like, you know, The English Patient or Mission Impossible, are there things on those sets that just get you down, where you kind of think, I just stop now?
Yes. It must be the only job in the world where 150 people know when you're on the loo. There's a code, it's called 10-100. And you have people, and they're muttering into their microphone, 10-100, when 10-100. And then it's suddenly travelling, and you put 1 foot outside your trailer, 1 foot on the step, travelling. She's just exiting the trailer now, and she'll be down. We should be there in about 5 seconds. Walking, and now we are walking. We're just crossing the leads. We are coming through the door, opening the door. It goes on like this. It's completely crazy.
10-100 is toilet?
10-100, loo.
Where does it come from?
I don't know, actually.
It must be something to do with the holes, is it?
But I think 100 looks like loo, doesn't it?
Oh, do you think that's what it is?
I don't know.
I thought it was honey wagon.
Honey wagon is the loo.
That's where you go.
You go to the
they
honey
say
wagon.
honey wagon when I'm walking, so maybe... maybe I'm looking for a set of codes.
But it's all of the character debate. She's quite sweary, and I don't know if I'm wrong or right. I get the impression Andy McDowell not very sweary.
You're wrong about that. I wish I wasn't. I think I was, when my kids were little, I really cleaned up my mouth, but they're adults now and they cuss. So, especially my girls who are actresses, I don't know, there was something about acting and all of a sudden you cut. It's the truth. But no, I don't say normally. I did that especially.
They said you weren't allowed to say that word on this show.
Andy McDowell can.
Oh my goodness!
You know.
so prepared.
You know.
Nobody
Andy,
told me. I don't know, they didn't tell me.
Security,
can
security.
say the C
The set's
word.
been shut down. The set's been shut down. She pulled the cord.
A lot of times, though, like when if I mess up when I'm working, I don't know what you guys. You're probably very self-controlled. Like if I don't get my line right, I'll do this. I'll go fuckity fuck, 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 fuck. Guess where I got that from?
Yes.
4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Of course, yes.
And it makes everybody laugh.
I was just
But
thinking,
it just
right?
comes flying out. Fuckity fuck, fuckity fuck, 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 fuck. Just like that.
I really feel like I've poked the bear.
We Americans can't do this over there.
We can't do it here. It was an innocent question.
Well, it was at the beginning of 4 Weddings and a Funeral, so there you go.
Hugh Grant has a terrible toilet story. Was it on a French train?
It was suggested to me backstage that I might tell this story.
Do you not want to? It is a terrible story.
I was on a French train. It was just after 4 Weddings had come out. And
I didn't realise...
Yes,
Oh.
because people were being very nice to me. French people kept saying, "Oh, we love your film." And I said, "Oh, thank you, very nice, thank you, thank you." And I was by myself going to some film festival. And I had a terrible pain in my arse. I thought, this is uncool, you know, I'm nodding at everyone, oh, thank you. But my arse is killing me. And it then occurred to me that I might have hemorrhoids. I thought, oh, God, it's my first pile. It was bound to come at some point. This will be it. And I became fixated. I thought, I have to see this thing. It's so painful. So I went to the loo on this very modern TGV French train. And I thought, I've got to look at my arse. So I tried it. It's a very, very difficult thing to do. Finally found the only way was to stand on the loo seat, pull my arse cheeks as wide apart as I could, and look back through my legs. I actually got quite a good view, and at that point I realised I had not mastered the lock on the door. And one of these incredibly nice French people who'd been nice about my film came in and saw me for some reason. So, it was a bad moment. I feel I've invaded my own privacy. I'll be in trouble for that.
Were you friends with Richard Curtis anyway?
Well, we'd met on the Olympics because we did this sequence in the opening ceremony of the Olympics where Rowan Atkinson played Mr. Bean.
Of course, yeah.
He was like one of Britain's most famous exports. Yeah. And so he'd be recognisable all around the world. That was it. And so Richard came in and helped us with the sequence because he said, you'll need help with Rowan. So he came in and the help you need is to stop Rowan performing forever because he's a perfectionist. And he will do hundreds of takes, if he can, hundreds and hundreds. And so it was Richard who had to explain to him he only got to do it once on the night, because he was going to be alive.
And Lily, you've worked with Richard a couple of times, because you were in Mamma Mia 2, and then the 4 Weddings sequel for Comic Relief.
Well, that was cool because Rowan married Alicia Vikander and myself, which was so surreal. I mean, Hugh Grant was walking me down the aisle to get married, and the entire cast of 4 Weddings and a Funeral were in the church. There's the congregation. It was, and I love his movies. I've grown up watching them. I just, you know, so it was a really sort of magical, surreal experience.
I don't think of your characters ever as being mean or nasty spirit, but you think that Trevor is nicer than the characters you normally play.
Yeah, I mean, in Man vs. Bee, he was quite psychopathic because the bee drove him kind of nuts. But in this one, he's not so psychopathic. He's a genuinely sweet man, I think, Trevor Bingley, and that's relatively rare actually in the characters that I played, because I think, you know, Mr. Bean is a selfish, self-centered, anarchic child. You know, really a very, you know, he looks after number one and is quite charmless sort of character. And the Blackadder is a sarcastic, you know, sardonic, negative sort of guy. I mean, humorously negative in terms of what he says and the way he says it, but, you know, not... And even Johnny English, you know, the comedy spy character, which I occasionally played, that he's vain and sort of, again, self-centred, doesn't care about anybody else.
He's a knob, really.
He's another knob, clearly. But so I think Trevor Bingley is a pleasant contrast to actually this sort of, this catalogue of I mean, just people that you wouldn't want to have dinner with.
Now, we mentioned the two of you working together, you and Emma. Obviously, brother and sister in Love Actually, which you forget that you're the brother and sister in that movie. And then lovers in Sense and Sensibility. Beautiful. Of course...
He was so grumpy all the time. So grumpy. He knew me, he'd known me for years. There was nothing there for him. He knew that I wasn't going to cough up. Actually, I couldn't have been less interested. I'm trying to make it look good. But in fact...
I did let you down on that. I was grumpy, fat, bad, and got arrested halfway through the...
Well, you were so famous because you hadn't been famous. We'd done 2 films together where neither of us was famous, and then you were suddenly very famous because of 4 Weddings.
What were those other 2 films?
Impromptu, where you played Chopin in a terrible wig. And The Remains of the Day, where you got killed in the war.
Yes, very sad.
Very sad.
And of course, famously directed by Ang Lee.
Yes.
Now, did you both feel the same about Ang Lee, or was one of you keener on Ang Lee than the other?
Could that be a leading question?
Yeah, it sounds like... I think we all ended up adoring him.
We adored
but
him.
The opening, the first initial scenes were tricky because he was a man of very few words, partly because his English wasn't great at that time, and also because he was this great sage from Taiwan, and he was like Grasshopper, and you waited for his words of wisdom. And I remember doing quite an easy scene with Emma, walking down beneath some trees. I thought we were being rather good, and we went up to Ang Lee, who was sitting at the monitor afterwards, and said, "What do you think, Ang? What do you think?" And he said, very boring. And it was really crushing. He hadn't developed the thing of telling, you know, English actors, me in particular, I have to be told I'm marvellous all the time. I hadn't got any of that. So it was... I remember him saying to Kate Winslet, "You will get better." So...
he said to you,
oh, yes.
Could you do one like a bad actor?
Yeah, and I said, I think you've seen that one, though.
But the scene that I think everyone remembers... And it's
funnily enough, we called him Fang Lee, I remember that. Just in
Which wasn't hilarious at the time either.
But the scene that everyone loves is the proposal scene, where the whole way through it, you think you can't get together with you because he's married.
Yes.
And then finally... you discover that he's not married.
It's supposed to be funny. That was the point. I started crying. We got halfway through it, and you said, "You're not going to do it like that, are you?"
Well, I don't like anyone being good in a scene with me. I hate that. I was supposed to be full of love for you, and I felt nothing but undiluted loathing.
Did you really not know she was just going to bawl the whole way through it?
No, because you've done that thing that really good actors do in rehearsal of sort of almost nothing. So you don't... They keep it. They save it. And then I get that bloody thing.
No, because you kept going.
Yeah, all the way through. That's the gag.
but you are incredibly good at the crying, Emma. I mean, there's that one. There's The Remains of the Day. That crying...
A lot of crying,
is sensational at the end of it. And, of course, Love Actually. Everyone loves the Love Actually crying.
Heart-wrenching.
No, see, look. Everyone loves that crying. Horrible. Do you have a shortcut to crying?
No.
Like a dead dog or whatever?
No. No, I don't. No.
But are you upset when you're crying, or are you just like
yes, I'm
crying
generally
now?
speaking pretending to be somebody else. And that person, whoever it is in some difficulty for whatever reason, and that produces the emotion required to
Well, fascinating. Fascinating. I could no more do it than fly. I have to have a woman come and blow Vicks Sinex into my eye. And even then, all you get is 3 yards of snot.
talking of musical icons, Kristen Scott Thomas, you were discovered by a musical icon.
I was, yeah.
This is an amazing story. I did not know this story. Go.
Somebody said that, hand-picked by Prince.
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 Yeah.
You like saying that, don't you? I do. And you should, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was 22, 23, working in the theatre in France, and I got a call to go to a casting because Prince is going to make a film in France, and he needs people to play the small roles, and he wants local actresses so he doesn't have to import any English speakers from elsewhere. So I show up, do this audition, and then they said, would you be interested in auditioning for the lead? I just simply... First of all, I thought the whole thing was just a miracle, me even being there, because that was the summer of Around the World in a Day, and I had been listening to it over and over again on repeat on my Walkman that somebody brought me back from Japan, because they were a rarity. Yeah. Do you remember those?
Oh, I do.
Things were the thing, like this.
Yeah.
And so I said yes, and then, I did some more words, and my head was spinning slightly, and then they said, can you come back at about 6 to meet Prince? And I promise you, it was just, I had to keep reminding myself that this is actually real, this is actually going on. And I went back, met him, got the job. He actually flung a piece of bread across the dining room, but that was a mistake. But he was a bit nervous, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I had a sort of nervous gesture. We were children. We were 23 and 22.
And the movie was called Under the Cherry Moon. We've got a
Yes.
picture of you and Prince in the movie.
Oh, God.
There you are. Wow. Wow.
Look at him.
Well, look at you.
Yes.
And then you brought your mom to the
yeah.
premiere, which must have been lovely for her.
Well, yes, I mean, yeah. It was a weird premiere because it was in Wyoming. And they took over the whole town. It was this huge, great deal. And Mummy came. And after the premiere, she patted my knee. We were sitting together in the cinema, and she goes, "Don't worry, darling, it'll be better next time." And she was right.
She could have waited.
Right.
I tell you who loves horses. Old potty mouth Andy McDowell here. You genuinely love horses.
I do love horses.
Now, tell us how horses help you sleep.
Oh, I scroll horses before I go to bed on Instagram to soothe and calm me down. That's what I do. And other people.
But how do you find the horses on Instagram?
I just put in horses up at the top. And I get a vast amount of all different kinds of horses.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you just scroll and scroll till shut-eye comes.
Yeah, that's how I do it.
Okay.
But I have a funny horse story if you want to hear it.
Oh, please, let's hear your
Okay.
horse.
Okay, I love to ride.
How sweary is it?
Okay, it doesn't swear, but it's funny, I think. So I love horses so much, and I love to ride bareback. So at one point, when I lived... Okay, just wait. Hold on. So I was living in a very conservative...
We are seeing a different side of you, Andy McDowell.
But listen, I lived in a really conservative Christian community in North Carolina. That's where I raised my children. And I didn't know what I was saying. I was very naive about this. I had an email address that I used to communicate with the school that was called, I'm sorry, Bareback Shug. Shug. But I didn't know what it meant. I just like to ride bareback. And my horse name was Sugar. It was Bareback Shug. That's
Yeah,
it.
there you go. That's how that happens.
I didn't know what it meant. I was so innocent. I really didn't. I didn't know what it meant.
Well, you know now.
Bareback Shug. And I was sending it to the school. I was communicating with the teachers.
Good for that.
Oh, my God. Can you believe it?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, that's Andy McDowell. You know who that is. Yeah, that's
Oh, my God. Just trying to fit in.